Hey, Joe and Betty. It's Jeff. This is at least my fourth or fifth take of this. So I apologize for not sending the speeches earlier. I wanted to include mine. And actually, I'm decided to go ahead and just render what I have, and I'll add this one to it later. Um, I can't seem to keep this under an hour. So uh, I think I'm going to kind of change the way that I'd started this. I think I know you guys well enough at this point. I didn't want to just read something. I wanted to just more like have a conversation. But I keep finding myself going back and discussing things that that you and I have talked about. And honestly, I don't know sometimes the things that I say if they upset you guys or if they make things better. And if I've ever upset you, I apologize. But if you guys want to know anything about any details about his mental or physical state when Josh was here, I'm more than happy to talk to you. But I think I really should wait for you guys to come to me because, like I said, the last thing I want to do is upset you guys, and I know this is more than difficult. So I think after doing a few takes of this and watching it back, and realizing I'm probably not giving you guys what you need or even maybe what you want, what may be better is for me to just talk about Josh, the impact he had on my kids. I'll try to keep it brief. Like I said, the last few went on for like an hour, and I don't want to take that much time for you guys. I just want to talk to you about Josh's impact on me and Chill and the kids. I've known Josh since 2006. I met him through Mike. When I first met Mike, he would go on and on about how just his amazing, talented brother. You've got to meet him, because I was in film. And he gave me a book of Tink, and I listened to it about 1,000 times. And I was like, I've got to meet this guy. And so I filmed a dream play for Josh. He agreed to let me come in with 3 cameras. And, I think he was happy with the result. And he wanted me to film Pretty Polly after that, which I did. And based on that, Josh has this way of seeing things in people and then kind of like cultivating it. And so I'm honored that he saw something in me because then we did I Fought a Witch, which was 8 short films set to his music. And he taught me so much. I was just getting into screenwriting and filmmaking, and it's a different approach. Like with screenwriting, you still have the 3 acts, but it's usually very rigid. And Josh taught me to open up and to like let go of some of the rules and to trust my gut and to never apologize for my art. One of my favorite mottos has always been art does not apologize, and Josh really embodied that. And so from that moment, it's we became extraordinarily close. And it was at Thanksgiving at your house, that Josh and I and Mike, we became blood brothers. At 30 years of age or so, we were like a couple of 10-year-olds. He's like, I love you, man. You're like one of my best friends, and I feel like that you're actually my brother. We should become blood brothers. And we did. He took a knife and he slit his hand, slit my hand, slit Mike's, and we put them together. And I've been calling him my brother ever since. I actually have a brother. We're not nearly as close, and don't talk. We didn't talk nearly as often. So my friendship with Josh, it was truly special. And I know everyone says that everyone's got a special relationship with Josh, and I believe that everyone has a special relationship with Josh. I don't know how many godchildren he has. I know that my kids were his godchildren, and that's something he took very seriously. He wanted to send them all to Cal Arts. He wanted to buy my wife a house. I don't know how many houses he's offered to buy for people. He wanted me to not have to. I tend to work 7 days a week, and he saw that when he was here, and he wanted me to not have to do that. So he and I to start like this, like a nonprofit or something that generates income for the arts. And I don't believe he'd do that with everybody. You know, I believe that my family from the very beginning had quite an impact on him. You know, the first song that he and I collaborated on, you know, as a team was Shitty Knives. I mean, I filmed Dream Play and Pretty Polly, but Shitty Knives was the first time we worked together. And I'm the kind of director that I don't, you know, I'm very protective of what I'm doing. And I didn't know at the time, but I've learned since that Josh is the same way. He has to control every movement and every beat. And when we worked together, it wasn't like that. You know, he gave up control, I gave up control, and it was the first time for me, and I believe for him, that we worked, you know, with someone else as a team and kind of deferred to our partner and just instinctively and intuitively. And you know, I will always cherish I Fought a Witch. It represents so much to me as far as it coming out of my shell and learning to be more creative and learning to trust my gut. You know, it was his first introduction to Bella. And, you know, it was also the last song that he recorded and sang, or that Bella sang, that they recorded together and he played the piano on. So Shitty Knives is this song that kind of bookends our relationship. You know, and only Josh could write a song called Shitty Knives and have lyrics like Pissy Winds, and it's just, it works. It's just beautiful, it's dark, it's emotional, it's moving. I don't know anyone else who could pull that off. And Josh didn't pull it off. He created these amazing songs, and his plays were just the most impressive stories. And I've never known anyone like him. And to hear voicemails of going back years of him calling me brother and him telling me he loved me is just, it's an honor. And when Josh was here, that was a daily thing. At the end of every night, he hugged me, kissed me on the cheek, and said, "I love you, brother." No one else has done that. You know, so whether or not my friendship with Josh is something that's unique or not, I do know that no one has ever loved me or my wife or my kids the way that Josh did. And I can say that with 100% certainty. No one has ever offered to send my children to school, to college. No one has ever offered to buy Sheila a house. And I believe 100%, if Josh were still alive, we would be in that house in Joshua Tree. You know, I told him I was going to let him buy the house. I was like, you put down a down payment, you know, but let me take over the 30-year mortgage. And he didn't think that was too fair to me, but I'm like, look, you know, I'm more than happy to pay a mortgage if you want to buy a house. So, and I have no doubt that he would have done that. You know, I've never known anyone as talented and as gifted as Josh, but that's not, to me, those aren't the most important traits. To me, it's Josh's, you know, his humanity. And I've said this before, you know, it's his kindness, it's his generosity, it's his empathy, his insightfulness. Those are the things that bonded us together. You know, his talent brought us together, you know, because initially it was just like, hey, I want to work with this guy. But we became best of friends after doing that. And, you know, I've worked with a lot of people, and that's not a thing that's happened before. You know, I've become friendly with people, I've become friends with them, but, you know, not like I did with Josh, because Josh is special. And Josh will always be special. You know, I've been working on this album as a tribute and a celebration of him, and you know, I wanted to include him as much as possible. So I've got these audio recordings, about 5 hours worth, of him reading his poetry, reading other people's poetry, talking about life in general, things like that. And so I've got that throughout the album. Like, you know, at certain points you'll hear his voice. And one of the things I really wanted to do after every song is I included one of his voicemails that he had sent to me over the years. And I didn't really even realize until I was going through all this pile of voicemails, that he ended every one with, "I love you, brother," always. In the last several years, that's how he talks to me. no one else has done that. And for some reason I've saved all these voicemails. I just intuitively, I'm like, I don't know why I have voicemails from Josh from years ago, but I do. I never deleted them. And I think it's because they were from him. And I'm glad I did. I can tell you this, I've never saved voicemails of anyone else. But yeah, Josh he's one of those people that now that he's physically gone, life is not going to be the same for those who are impacted by him. The world is going to be deprived of many songs, many stories, and I wish I could have saved him. I don't know what else I could have done. I tried to get him to go to the hospital. It took me weeks to finally get him to agree to go, and I have no doubt that if I had called the ambulance before the day I did, he would not have gotten into it. He made that very clear to me. But we took care of him the best that we could, and to the best that he would allow us to. We changed his sheets very regularly. I helped him get dressed and things like that. And of course, because he's Josh and I love him, I wanted him to be comfortable. I mean, the main thing was we wanted him to get better. We wanted him to get well. And I don't understand. I don't understand why he's been taken from us. And I wish I could have done something that could have made a difference. But as you guys know, Josh does things the way Josh wants to do them. And that's one of the things I respect about him. In this case, I wish he'd given up some of the power. So I could have gotten him to the hospital sooner. But you guys raised an amazing force of nature. Just an incredible person. Somebody I will certainly never forget. I dream about him still. I write music about him. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, or at all. Josh will always be my brother. He'll always be my best friend. He'll always be my kid's godfather. And we miss him immensely. And, I've never known anyone quite like him. It's difficult to find the words to encapsulate, really, the person that Josh was and what he meant to us. And if there's anything I can do for either you or Betty or Joe or Mike, don't hesitate to ask. I'll always be here for you guys. I'll always talk to you about anything you want to talk about. I'll always be sincere and honest with you. And, I hope you guys do know and understand how much he was loved by me and Sheila and the kids. And not just that, but how much he loved us. Like I said, I've never known anyone who's ever loved me or my family quite the way that Josh did. It was just a completely genuine, kind, generous person. That's all we ever saw. That's the only side of him that he ever gave to us, was just his purely generous and kind self. So, I should probably stop it here. Hopefully that wasn't too long. There's so much more I could say about Josh. There's so many more stories, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. And like I said, if there's ever any questions you have about his time when he was here, any details you ever want to go over, I'm more than willing to do it. I'm afraid if I bring it up at the wrong time, it's going to hurt you guys, and I don't want to do that. But I am available to you guys for anything. We love you, Betty and Joe and Mike and Alexa. And we share your grief and your loss. I believe to a degree that most others can't. You know, so love you guys, and I'm always here for you. And just call me if you need me. Okay, bye.